To me, work-life balance is like having work nor life, neither of it overpowering the other one. So they have like, to me, both of it has to have the same importance.
A work-life balance to me is one's professional life and personal life basically not eating into each other. The ability to separate them to both. But at the same time, I don't mean that in terms of time separation, whereby you go to work at 9, you come back at 5, and you don't touch your work again till you go back. But rather, your mind is at peace when you're doing your work and your personal life. You're not constantly thinking, oh, I should be doing my work while you're hanging out with your family, or personal issues not getting in the way of boardroom meetings. So that to me is what work-life balance means: the ability to separate the two and prioritize when to do what and how to do it.
I think work and life balance definitely is important, and I mean, it affects all of us definitely. And understanding that you don't have to be exclusive, but basically you're working to enhance your social life. You're working for income, but you're also working for everything that that income affords you, comfortable life and so on.
Being able to be present in those important events and like be fully present and not immersed in your brain being immersed in another place is what an ideal work-life balance would be.
Personally, I'm very into spiritual growth and finding your way in life and knowing where you're going. And you can't do that if you're consistently going to keep chasing after that bonus for Christmas. It's not something that should be consuming, but it should be something that is always at the back of your head, like, yeah, go back to your family, or spend time with your loved ones, or spend more time with your friends, because you need that.
I guess later on in my life, I would like to have my weekends definitely free without worrying about my work. So I have less work on the weekends, or probably I wouldn't have work after 6 p.m.
I might be putting in a bit too much amount of work in my social life. I did say that you have to balance it out, and it's cool if it should be that even if you're thinking about work, that it's easy and you're not stressing out. But I feel like I'm stressing out a little bit, even if it's when I think about work after I leave the office. So I do feel like I still need to stabilize it a little bit and maybe get more work done in the office, and then just be more easygoing after it.
Ideal work-life balance is I have enough money to put food on the table, but while able to pursue my other hobbies in life.
Personally, the priorities I would place at this time would be, for me it's still academics. So academics for me would be at about 30%, family and friends would be about 40%, then the remaining would be personal development and me time. So yeah.
As a family person, and with a lot of time spent at home, I think work should be of an optimum amount, and that for you to have time, your personal time at home for yourself and for the people closest to you, which are your family.
Once I get into the work field, I tend to overlook everything. It's just my main priority is work, and I try to make sure that I'm fulfilling my job, and then my life just fades away. It's just not a good thing. So work-life balance is pretty much very important.
Because I see life as a whole. Like for example, if you have health and you don't have money, it's not good. And if you have money and you don't have health, it's not good as well. So yeah, I see life as a whole. It's very important to me.
Yes and no. I think it's a bit of a tough thing to say. In the Malaysian workforce, basically, is kind of becoming increasingly skewed towards work and less about play or less about leisure. But at the same time, I think we're still quite adamant about having enough time to see people and to kind of have a breather.
Well, I guess it depends on the job you're doing. If you're in the corporate world, I would say the answer is no. Malaysians don't have work-life balance. We have come to a point in society in which we try our very best to outdo the other person, and by trying to outdo the other person, we put more effort in our work than our life, and therefore we lose out in the balance.
Yes, I would say my mom does keep very good work-life balance. She's a teacher, so her professional life being a teacher dealing with youth kind of complements the ability for her to deal with me and my brothers at home. So, you know, she does maintain it very well. Although she does have sometimes, you know, papers to mark or tuition to give at
Every
home.
morning,
She
they will
really
wake up
does
together
integrate
and then they will go jogging. So that's their morning routine. After that, my dad works really hard during weekdays, but that's only daytime. Because during at night, and then he will take time to have dinner together and then watch TV and have bed chat with my mom and me and my brother. So I see work-life balance in my parents, and I think that's very important.
My mom is a workaholic for sure. Like she just retired like a few months ago, but while she was working, during the span that she was working, she would leave the house at like 7 o'clock, and then she'll come back at like 10 o'clock around there. So I think she embraced her role as a worker. So I'm not going to say that she was, you know, maybe a little bit too involved in work, because I do feel like at the same time when she's back home, it's like all of her attention is onto her kids.
Biggest takeaway is from observing my parents' work life is to enjoy your work. When you enjoy your work, it doesn't feel as though you're working.
Considering my parents have prioritized work more than they have in their own lifestyles, there is a huge generation gap between myself and my parents. So I think it's made me personally more liberal when it comes to maybe raising kids of my own. I would say that I would like to spend time more at home, because the job's not going to hug you when you're dying. Having friends who will stick with you, good or bad, is that when you're feeling bad from work, they're always there for you. Or when you're going through a tough time in life, they're always going to be there by your side. Your work's not going to do that for you.
Find whatever you love doing and you do it with all you got. And then I think my biggest takeaway would be focus on your family, because they're the only ones you got. Like I said earlier, you gotta take a step back sometimes. Reflect on your life. Are you doing the right thing? Are you communicating with the right people? Once what you're doing does not make you happy, I don't think you should do it anymore.